Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. This is another supporters stream, and today we are talking about Google alternatives. It'll be kind of fun if I can find my correct screens and unmute everybody. Greetings, how are you guys doing?
Good.
All right, we got Ben back. Ben showed up. How's it going, Ben?
Hey, it's been a while.
And we got Mikola is a friend of Sean O'Brien. Since we're discussing Google alternatives, I wanted to go ahead and invite Sean on, but he was busy tonight, so he sent Mikola, who works with him over at, you do work with Privacy Safe too, right?
Yes, Privacy Safe and the 3 on the web ecosystem.
Cool. Very good. Awesome. So we wanted to start out with this fun question. Google CEO is now taking over all of Alphabet. Larry Page is out. He's going to be on the board members, but that means that all of the original people who started with the quote, "Don't be evil," are now stepping aside. Sundar Pichai is now taking over all of Alphabet. Impressions. What do you guys think?
Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil.
Isn't that Jeff Bezos, though? He's one white cat short of being Dr. Evil.
I think so. He's definitely got the shaved head. He's got, he's probably has some farm back and somewhere where it's legal to stick all these children to the thing so he can go in for the blood transfusions of the young people. And, and then, of course, building his giant time clock, 10,000 year time clock in the middle of a mountain somewhere. And,
he's working on his mini me.
Yeah. Anyway, but all jokes aside, I guess, or whatever else. Any other thoughts on that? Sounds fun. Yeah. So today we are going to chat about Google alternatives. I found this nice list from Techspot, or is it Techspot or Tech Report? I think it's Techspot. We'll pull up the article. They're missing a few things, and there's a few good ideas that they have and stuff like that. So we'll pull that. Thomas Holt's on. Hello, Thomas Holt. CJ and TJ say meow and meow 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 because the one's really annoying. Tech Kabadashi will be jumping on in a little bit. Let's see. The one who never gave up. Google is the devil. Maybe not the devil, but certainly a minor demonic entity, at least. All right, David S. KO2610, your number has been called. Jessica, how's it going there? We got True Meme Master. Don't be evil. Google silently dropped the term. That's right. One who never gave up. Google is the devil. YouTube is owned by Google. Yep, there you go. There you go. Lord Annex, hello. Mitchell, how's it going there? Dan Kelly in the house. That's right. And Subtech, how's it going there? I think lawsuits are coming. It's bad thing. Certainly don't think any good will come from this. Interesting. Hey, Sleepy Asvents, how's it going there? Currently out on the phone. If you're back in time, you'll try and get on. All right. Sounds good. All right. So, any other discussion before we dive into Google alternatives?
I do have one that I'm gonna. You said on the email to bring other ones, and I do have one good one that I like.
Which what category is that under?
This is for Android. It's the Micro G Suite. I'll talk a little bit about it.
Good. All right. I think we will get to there. Should I record these and maybe release them? I don't know if the discussion gets good enough. Maybe we can do that, right? Let's go ahead and probably do that. Let me make sure my article's up at the top. I didn't know Techspot was a thing, and I think Vince sent me an article from Techspot. I'm like, this is a neat site. I think I'm gonna
really. If you want to run from Google, short of rooting your own phone and putting your own OS on it, Apple's the only other alternative there is.
I did read this article today. I threw it in the news to at least evaluate it for tomorrow's news, where it was Microsoft's trying to get everyone to follow them in the phone builds. The one multi-billion-dollar tech company that couldn't pull off a phone build, you want us to follow you into phone builds? Okay. Of course, we have the Librem 5 phone. It's now shipping. Can't make phone calls yet, but, you can get it.
Well, and now they're offering a $1,200 version that's built domestically?
Which one?
The Librem 5. It's on.
Oh, are they? Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a new article.
I honestly
yeah.
You guys could disagree with me, but the Librem 5 is a scam. The whole thing was a scam.
I
Yeah, it
don't know
works
if
out.
I'm going that far. I really don't. I think it was a case of biting off more than they chew. The question is, did they have the intention of starting going, let's just scam a lot of people? I don't think that was their case. I just think it's a bigger project
But
than
I
they
just think
thought.
it turned into that. Like I just feel
Yeah,
like people
I
weren't
don't know.
just getting what they were
Yeah,
promised.
yeah.
What
Mikola, what's your
company
thoughts on the
is
Librem
going to do a
5?
phone that's like 8 years out of
Uh,
date?
I didn't have a particular experience, but what I'll say is that somebody who tries to develop actual products, and I think that now is actually time when these processors come to this price point where you can actually do something. You can actually create some and make a phone somewhere in States rather than in China, and to have it not under Google or like have a real Libre phone, because I think there was the first phone that was with the touchpad was before Apple, and it was somebody trying to do a Linux phone. You have to pull out and Google searches that, but so I don't know. Do you remember the Mozilla phone? Was
Yeah,
trying.
yeah, they were trying as well. That's Mozilla.
Yeah.
And were they based on Android open source as well or not?
No, they weren't. It was separate.
They were not. Okay. Yeah.
There was the Ubuntu phone too.
Yeah.
Their problem was is they couldn't get enough app developers on board to package a system to deploy apps for the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the
And-
same problem with the Firefox phone. Was there was a lack of apps and
Yeah,
Windows
that's the one
Phone
we're talking
too.
about. Yep.
Well, I think they've
Windows
learned
Phone.
something from this because that's what's bringing them into this whole Snap package development thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's Android apps are. I mean, a Snap package is very much like an Android app, just completely all packaged up, things like that. So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting case. Now, Ben, you wanted to say something? I think your mic's turned really low, so it's hard. We couldn't hear you very
sorry.
well. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I was just going to say that by the time everybody gets their Librem 5, it'll be 8 years out of date.
I'm thinking that might be the case.
I mean, I don't think it's a scam by any means, but they certainly probably didn't understand quite what they were getting into.
That's the thing.
They ship the hardware and the software half of it
Yeah.
together at the same time.
Yeah, where the Pine phone is doing it right is they're just focusing on the hardware and allowing other people to work on the software because the Linux community is going to jump up and build the software. If it's like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Yeah. And if we just have the hardware and say, hey, we're developing the hardware, this is the stuff it's built on, go. The community is going to rally around it and make it work. And
one of the things that I would like to see on the Pine phone, even though this is a little bit contradictory to what it is a Lineage build or just an Android build. So you have that choice of having a FOSS version of Android on it with no Google stuff.
Yeah. And you're never going to get 100% away from it on a smartphone, but I think that Lineage comes the closest we're going to get. I really think.
I pretty much think anything that'll run on a Raspberry Pi would run on a phone. A Pi is pretty small by today's standards.
Well, even it's actually, I think it's over there, but I have the Micro Pi, and it's like half the size of a regular one. So, yeah, I gotta do something with that. But you got one?
There actually is an unofficial Lineage build for the Pi.
Oh, hold on. Let me pull Ben's up. Yep, there's the mini. What do you do in that one for?
This is this prints out zpool status on my FreeNAS box.
Oh, fun. Cool. Nice. All right.
I have one of those Raspberry Pis too, but it just sits in the box and doesn't do anything.
That's why I haven't bought one. I don't have a purpose for it.
Yeah.
It's actually got a little e-ink display for that sort of stuff.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the things I want to do soon is I want to do a Pi-hole build. Just pull my old router out and do a Pi-hole build and stuff. Just show you how you can do that kind of stuff. Sulub is on Hex Chat. He says, finally, I got a live stream where I'm not busy doing other things. Well, greetings. All right. So we are on Freenode on Switched to Linux if you want to jump on over there. Let's jump on into the first. Oh, go ahead, Quint, before we'll jump on.
Can I just mention one last thing here that's off topic?
Yep, go for it.
So I saw it in another video that Ubiquiti added an option now to turn off the whole tracking, the whole telemetry stuff that was going on.
Cool.
I told you about that.
Yep.
They added an option now so you can turn it off, but that was after everybody found out what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, at least the option's there, but I dare say that they probably lost trust. And, like, I think everybody probably got lost trust in that, but I don't know.
Very few have gained mine.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead.
There aren't many other options, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Wi-Fi.
I'm probably with you on that. It's hard. Almost every one of the AC adapters requires a smartphone to act. It's like, what? Like the Samsung ones. Yeah. Oh, you plug this into your network. You got all high control. You just need to configure everything from a mobile app from the Google Play Store. No. All right, let's get started on the Google alternatives. I'm going to go ahead and record these, and if it turns into a great discussion that I can actually organize and edit, we'll release them individually. All right, welcome back to Switch to Linux. We are going to do a panel discussion on a complete list of alternatives to all Google products. I'm going to probably say this is from Techspot. This is probably not going to be complete because I noticed some things that are not in there as well. This actually came out in October, but I just encountered this article. So I think we're going to do this in categories. The first is Google search alternatives. Of course, Google started as a search company. They're listing Startpage first, and this was right before Startpage announced that they were being sold to System One, a data analytics and ad company. So, edit. So, I don't know. I've switched most of my stuff off of Startpage. What are you guys using for your search engines these days?
I use DuckDuckGo.
Okay.
DuckDuckGo.
We got a Quacker. We got another Quacker.
DuckDuckGo.
Quacker. Are you a Quacker too, Ben?
DuckDuckGo and Startpage.
DuckDuckGo and Startpage. And I'm doing much the same. I'm DuckDuckGo and Startpage. I have found that DuckDuckGo does not give me all of the good results that I need, but I have converted most of my things to DuckDuckGo. So I
will say, if you aren't getting the answers you want, I still will occasionally go and do a proper Google search.
Yeah. So when I set up a new web browser, I make sure there's only three search engines available: DuckDuckGo, Startpage, and Google. And so the default's always going to be DuckDuckGo at this point. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll drop to Startpage. If that doesn't work, then I'll drop to Google. And that way, yep, good.
I found sometimes with DuckDuckGo, if you're not finding what you're looking for, if you change the wording in your search a little bit, it'll pop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, I believe DuckDuckGo does it pull data from Bing, I believe, at this point?
It's Bing, Yahoo.
Bing and Yahoo. Okay. Yahoo. All right. Anyway. And of course, Startpage pulls from Google, which is why Startpage actually is a better search engine. I'm just a little leery about it now that it's being owned by this data analytics company and they're keeping all this stuff private. Wait, we're a privacy company. We're keeping things private. Yeah, right. We trust you. CRX. Anybody use CRX before?
Never heard of it.
Heard of it, never used it.
I've never used it.
Yeah, that's the one I tested on a stream once. Like someone says, "Oh, I'll test it out," and it just searched for something very innocuous, and it was showing me inappropriate pictures. So I actually only time I ever deleted a stream. But there's some things. There's some things you can do, like you can actually get the code and deploy a version, and you can do filters and stuff. Is it Metager? Yep, Todd Quinn.
Yeah, another one that I've seen. This is based on Cyrex, but EOS, the Android ROM that I told you to look into, they have cloud services too. Like they have a fork of Nextcloud, and they also have a fork of Cyrex called Spot. I don't know if it's any better.
Okay, interesting.
And there is a version of it that's deployed. I'll see if I can find the link.
Yeah. Quant is the only other one. Well, actually, I've looked at Ecosia too. Quant is another one as well. This is a privacy search engine. This is another one recommended by privacytools.io. Anybody used Quant before?
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
Yeah. And Nicola, do you have any comments on any of these particular search engines, one way or the other?
Actually, not. But what I'm thinking about is that is who of you doing search exclusively through the Tor browser?
Yeah, Tor browser defaults to DuckDuckGo, I think is their
Yeah.
default, right?
Yeah, but most important is that when you do the search company should not know who you are, and
Correct.
and the only protection that you may get is actually so that the client doesn't give out unnecessary information, and
Correct.
that's the
Yeah.
Tor browser. And I guess we should do the search in Tor and then copy and paste the results somewhere else.
Okay. All right. So yeah, there's an option. Look at what you're looking for in a Tor browser. So, and that's something you can do. Any operating system, including Android now, you can actually get the Tor browser bundle. And using the Tor browser bundle, you can do your search through that. And that's much better because what if DuckDuckGo really is the secret NSA backdoor? They're collecting everything. We just don't know it yet. You know, and some people will go as far as to say that's the case because they're an American company or whatever else.
Are you
But the Tor is going to get around that. Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
are you saying don't put all your searches in one basket?
Yeah, that would be a giant duck egg.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes, very much.
So-
There's go ahead.
So Tom, I just sent you a link for Spot, and there is a safe search option. It seems like it's doing a pretty good job filtering.
Okay, so the safe
It
search
looks
is.
it's basically Sterex with a different UI.
Oh,
and a
really?
couple-
Are you going to? No, I'm not logging into Google for that. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, so there's, and what was that one? Let's see. Let me just read that. I'll go ahead and just read that. So it's spot.ecloud.global is the one Quint just looked up. So you can look that up as well. Mojik, never heard of that one. Based on the UK. That's like the most unprivate company in the civilized world. I think. Is it Yasi? Never heard of that one. Givero, never heard of that one. And then Ecosia, I've heard of that one. They're supposed to be. I've never heard of them specifically as a privacy based. They're just in an addition. So these aren't necessarily privacy honoring things. These are just alternatives to something to keep in mind as we look at this list. So Ecosia is their whole thing is that if every time you search, we'll plant trees. I have a feeling that's not going to be the case. I mean, let's all just get in there and search 5 things tonight, guys. And we have 68 people watching right now. And if we all go and search 5 things, 68 people, they got to plant several thousand trees just on tonight alone. So Vince says dog pile. So we have dog pile as an option as well. So there are some alternatives to search engines that are not Google services. Any final thoughts on search engines before we jump to another one?
This is just not a very easy thing to make a privacy search engine. And I guess that's the one position where we may think that we need a utility or something like, decentralized system where many players can help each other, because actually crawling the web is not a simple task. So if there's say many players helping each other, that would be something nice. But as a developer, I cannot give you a simple answer and to tell you that here's sure nobody looks at it, and by the way, we somehow get the money to run the business. So the question is, how do you get money for that?
Yeah. And
it's not trivial.
Yeah, so like DuckDuckGo, of course, they run Google Ads, but it's possible to run Google Ads where it's not collecting a lot of data. In fact, if you want to run ads that are going to be in a GDPR country, you have to run the ads that way. So there's things you can do. Anyway.
You can turn ads off on DuckDuckGo if you go into the settings. If you go to like the menu, like the menu icon on the top, and then you go into settings, you can turn ads off.
But I want them to make money so that they stay in business.
Yes.
I was just saying that you can do that if you want to.
Yeah, I don't mind when they have ads. The reason I actually moved my Lineage phone to DuckDuckGo a long time ago, and the reason I did that is because Startpage started to do a thing. it's actually right at the beginning of the year. So right when they first got involved in this System 1 deal that they weren't telling anybody about, right about that point in time, they pushed out the new design, and their new design would delay the ad. So you'd get a thing out, like a list of search results, and you'd be like, oh, I want this one. And right when you click it, it'd land you on an ad. And they would push an ad right to it, and it would cause, and that just pissed me off to no end. So I dropped start page on my phone because of that. I could get around that a little bit easier on the desktop, so I never changed it from that. But like, I don't mind them showing ads. I just don't want them to be deceptive where they're forcing me to click an ad when I'm meaning to click another link. And I find that completely inappropriate. So yeah, I'm with you. I want them to make the money. I don't mind if they're displaying the ads. I want to click on the ad willingly, not because they've thrown it in the place where I'm right about to click. So that's that. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to the next one here in a minute. All right. Let's see. Next, we're going to be looking at Gmail alternatives.
Groovy.
All right. Now we are on to Gmail alternatives. What other alternatives could there possibly be to Gmail?
I have.
Go ahead. What?
Do you want to talk about? I can talk about both like cloud email services or ones that you deploy on your own.
Yeah, I think so. Here they're pretty much only listing the cloud services, and I personally use my own. Now I use my emails just through a cPanel, just for convenience. Now, Quint, you've built your own email server, right?
Yes, it's a system called MailCow.
Okay.
It's MailCow. It's mailcow.email is the link. I'll pull up the website and do
All right.
Here, I'll do a screen share.
All right.
Show you. Okay. So right here, this is MailCow right here. There's not very much information on here other than the mail server suite with the Moo.
Yep. Okay.
Basically, all you have to do to install it, it's not that hard. You can just go to the documentation here. I probably will. I meant to do a video on this when I still did my channel, but I never got around to doing it. But basically, it's Docker based. You just have to set up like firewalls and stuff, and make sure you have Docker installed. And then you just basically just fork it from the GitHub page. You run the Docker installation. You generate all the files, and then you have an installation pulled up when you go to the domain that it's connected to.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
And
so.
The reason why I like it specifically is it uses a system called Sogo for the emails. And Sogo has built-in Microsoft Exchange support. So when you're on your phone, you can set it up through Exchange, which automatically syncs like calendar, contacts, and all that type of stuff without any extra configuration.
Cool. Yeah. So that's a good option if you're more tech savvy. I like the cPanel option, which is kind of the medium savvy. And I'm not, medium savvy, but for a convenience factor, I mean, I run like 25, 35 emails. So I do that through the cPanel. Now, all the things they're listing in this article is all a variety of different services. So is it Tutorano, based in Germany? Now, I had a friend test this out and said it wasn't particularly good. There's MailFence is another free one, and Proton Mail has a free one up to 500 megabytes. Now, Proton Mail is a little bit harder in that you'd have to use their webmail. I don't know. I'm guessing the other ones would not have to do that. And then there's other ones. There's the Start Mail, Runbox, Mailbox.org. There's just a variety. Like I said, these aren't necessarily good privacy focused, but they're alternatives to Gmail's what we're looking at. And I don't know, like we're not privacy focused. Alternatives to Gmail. Why do they not have Outlook on here? I don't know.
The cloud email service that I use, because I have cloud email addresses too. The one I like is Zoho. I don't know if that's in the article.
I'm not seeing it. No.
Pretty good. Zoho's pretty good. They let you. It's just an email address at zoho.com. They do let you use your own mail client.
Yep.
And I don't know what the limit on storage is. It's a lot though.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion on email clients or email services, I guess?
Well, I want to add a little bit
Sure.
that if you look at the article, you look Tutanota, Mailfans, Posteo, and all of them goes dash and then based in,
Yep.
and it somewhere Sweden, somewhere Switzerland. Notice how everybody's talking about that there has to be a jurisdiction. It's not just about tech. And I think that that's baked into SMTP email, and the email will have to be gone. Because if we as a technical community just stick with SMTP, in which we have to rely for our privacy on legislation rather than on technical solution, especially the technical solutions are possible, then it's not the product the nice product that we provide. That's sort of, yeah, and it just doesn't feel nice when the most compelling message from the vendors is that we are based in Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, hello, the rest of the world should disappear or something like that. And it
Yeah.
all has to do with the metadata, who you talk with.
Mhm.
Here how it goes. Like, I'm here, I'm not a US citizen. It means US guys gets everything, right?
Yeah, the NSA can spy on you legally. You know,
Yep.
they are probably spying on me. They just can't do it legally. You know.
Well, now they can do because you're talking to me and you're connected to a person who's not
Correct.
the
Yes.
US.
So now they can can, yes, now they can spy me. So
Yeah.
so next time we're on, you know. So when Vince jumps on, man, oh boy, everyone will see us then. Ben, Dan, any you guys have any ideas, any thoughts on emails?
I mean,
You
the
know
two I
how-
use. Oh, sorry, Dan.
God, Dan.
You know how I do mine? I do mine the same way you do yours. You help me put mine together.
Yep. Buy a domain
I'm-
name, buy a server, and you're all set.
Yes, and it works wonderfully. It works a lot faster than Gmail does.
Yep. And then you have
The only reason I don't
option.
use the cPanel is I can't afford cPanel hosting.
Yeah, that's for sure a factor. I mean, I pay a pretty hefty charge, but you know, I have clients that pay my bills for it. So you know, Ben, go ahead.
I'm probably the only one here that uses webmail exclusively, but the two I use are Gmail and Proton Mail.
Okay, Gmail and Proton. Yep. All right.
And
Even.
what's nice about the Proton Mail is there's apps for it for all the devices, and that's what I like about it at least.
Well, you can put your good stuff in Proton Mail, and G stands for garbage, so send that all there.
Yep. There you go.
Yep,
And
that's
there's
pretty much how it works.
yeah, there's a valid reason to have those. You know, Hotmails and Gmails and Outlooks and you know the junk accounts. Just create junk accounts. You know.
I actually do use Proton Mail as the email account that's for the server, that's for the hosting company.
Guys, some of you are running actually self-hosted email. I have a question. Is your email getting through to these big giants like Gmail or like
Yes, it
Outlook?
does.
Yeah.
You have to do
Sometimes.
configuration.
Yeah. With me, like, some of the big ones are trying to crack down on some of those. So, like, there's actually an SPF record you can add for Google to approve you to send to inboxes, and that sometimes helps. But for the most part, I don't generally have issues. But occasionally, if you send to an Outlook or a Gmail or something, occasionally you'll get something that doesn't connect right or jumps in a spam file. But that's not common.
You really just have to make sure you have your SPF and DMARC. And there's another one too. I'm blanking on the name of it. There's another authentication thing for email. I can't remember what the name
don't
is
remember.
though. But you just want to make sure you have all those configured, and it should get through.
Cool. All right. Any other final words on emails? All right, we'll end up. Let's go ahead and have a look at comments before we jump into web browser alternatives. Yay.
Yay.
It's like a giant pool of nothingness. All right, wow, we have a lot. Did I really not check comments for that long? I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, you have 80 viewers.
Yeah. The third is DKIM.
Yeah, DKM, that's it.
Thank you, Sulub.
As long
ran
as you
my-
have those, like MailCal actually has good DNS setup records in here that show you exactly what you need to do. And they say that as long as you do it, your mail is going to get through.
Yeah, yeah. So use Google searches. It does what I need to do it, and it's grabs what you need. All right, there you go. Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna scan through these because there's so many comments here. If you guys want to have a look at comments and read out anything that looks really good that I might miss here, go for it. Google's going to end up being that one mega evil corporation in end times that rules over everyone. I don't know. Is it going to be Google or Amazon? I think Google and Amazon are going to fight each other.
I really do too. I think they're going to be our new political parties.
Yeah, we're the A and the G parties.
Well, the change of CEO, I think this is a sign they're going to start to go down. So maybe
or they're going to start getting creepier. I don't know.
we'll see. Maybe the guys just don't want to present themselves in front of the Senate like Mark Zuckerberg had to go through it. So that's why maybe there's a change.
Yeah, Facebook could be another evil company, but I don't know. I almost feel like they're losing a little bit of traction, but maybe they're not. Maybe that's just a sad illusion. I hope I'm not up there. Mitchell says Linux is a scam.
Zuckerberg is gearing up for round 2.
I think that's probably the case. He's just lying in wait for a little bit.
He's regrouping.
Every time somebody mentions Mark Zuckerberg, I always think of that Gutenberg review that's what's worse, Gutenberg or Zuckerberg. Remember that?
Oh boy,
man.
I still don't know. Gutenberg
Do you remember
was
that
train
comment,
wreck.
though?
Yeah, I do. That was hilarious. Oh boy. Need more private streaming services that can replace YouTube. Yeah, I'm looking into DLive can replace. Well, it can't really replace YouTube, but it's an alternative.
There's
you
one
can
called
co-stream.
PeerTube also.
Yeah. All right. I'd say I have Lineage Android or something like a Mint for the phone. There you go. I mean, I think Lineage is decent for the phone. Getting haircut, barber is curious. See if I can convert him. That's right. Convert that boy to Linux. Convert him. Convert! Tell him the benefits of being able to cut hair better with Linux.
They might have web-enabled clippers.
There you go, yeah. Raspberry Pi clippers.
There you go.
One Lineage and one Raspberry. Hey, I'm actually, that's what I have right now, KO2610. Maybe am I seriously KO2610? Because I have a Lineage phone here and my other phone's running Resurrection Remix. Very fun. Put GApps in a container if possible. Never try Google at all. I think Quint's going to talk more about GApps specifically when we get down to that. So we'll jump over there.
What I have here is I have Lineage with micro G on this phone, and my custom ROM that I'm building right now called Better Lineage on this phone.
Nice. Very good.
I'll talk about it when we get into Android.
Sounds good. We should be there before too long here. Let's see. I'm just kind of scanning through the comments here, and then we'll jump over to the next one. How are we doing on our timings numbers? All right. Let's see. Don't trust from started out with DARPA. Most of the nodes are run by feds. So this has come. Mikola, can you comment on this one? This is True Meme Master is basically saying don't use Tor because it was founded by the DARPA and the NSA and run by the NSA. I don't agree with any of that, but what do you have? Do you have any specific comments to say on that?
A, it feels that it's not that way. Now, B, Tor is coming out with this thing called Snowflake now. What means the Snowflake? Snowflake is that, say, there's 10,000 servers right now, but then there's like 1 million users. And if 10%, it's 100,000 of these users start to use the Snowflake features, they become the servers for a little while. but that adds that, like a snowflake. Like imagine your screen, and then the snowflakes are, you cannot see what's behind that snowflake. That's where they got the name for it. So with the snowflake on, like this whole claim that most of your stuff goes through the service that owned by government, like it will be not true. That's number one. Number two, well, I really I have trust in these people, and I've seen them being true to what they say and walking their talk. Like I've met some of them personally, so like from the team and stuff. Um, Having said that, I use myself Tor browser all the time. If I ever to search anything which is not in line with the politics of the party or anything, it goes through the Tor. I look at Twitter through the Tor. As I asked everybody of you, do you do your searches? You can use your Google searches, do that through the Tor. You will be much better off with that. So, and yeah, I have a great respect for these guys. And you see this saying that, oh, they have so many servers or like run by bad guys. It's like a claim. And I see, like, for example, in Russia space, where they perfected the way of making negative claims that you cannot refute. And it's like out of that propagandistic book, like, I don't know, it's difficult to prove. Like, there's too many servers. Hey.
Yeah. The thing I'll add to that is, in order to compromise, to unmask somebody's identity, you have to control both the entry node and the exit node and be following every user on it. So it would be theoretically possible to demask somebody, but it would be extraordinarily unlikely.
Yeah. And again, the work that they do right now with the snowflakes will add more positive side to for the protection. Like the guys are doing an amazing job.
Now, some people are here commenting on Proton Mail and Tor. I have never used Proton Mail without using Tor. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Probably just change your nodes. Because the Proton Mail account I use, it is only ever used on Tor.
The only thing I don't like about Tor is it runs incredibly slow on my system.
Yeah, that's how it runs on most people's systems.
That's kind of a feature.
Yeah.
It's a feature.
It's a feature.
I mean, this is something you want to use.
Yeah,
this is something you want to use while you're cooking dinner.
Yeah. All right. Well, go ahead and leave our comments. I'll pause my comments there. We'll dive on into the next section, which is going to be web browsers. All right, so now we are on to web browser alternatives to Chrome. Of course, Chrome being the Google web browser, taking over the whole web, and it always wants you to sign in, so we can have all of your data as belongs to us. It's going to store all the cookies perpetually so that you can't delete them as easily later. They can still get the benefit of them, still add the profile, store all this other stuff. There's, of course, valid reasons. Pizza Loving Nerd uses Chrome because it allows him to get past the firewalls at school. They need better firewalls, apparently. But various different options. Of course, Firefox being the most popular. The Tor browser we should list. Oh, it is on there. It's listed over here. The Tor browser, which is based on Firefox. Also, WaterFox based on Firefox. Those are three browsers. We have IceCat. The other ones, we have Iridium, we have ungoogled Chromium, and we have Brave listed. Of course, everything here is either Firefox or Chromium because that's pretty much all there is. Specific comments on any individual browsers?
With Firefox in general, they're doing some pretty not so kosher stuff. I mean, they want you now to open up an account, a cloud account. So if you have to upgrade your browser, your profile is no longer something you can just drag from distro to distro. They want you to upload it to their cloud service, and then they'll clean it up for you and stuff it in your nice new version of WaterFox.
Well, you know,
and they
actually
want to update it every month now.
Yeah. Well, I actually tested that, Dan, and I was able to port my profiles. So I
I was
tested
able
it.
to do it too.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there was something wrong in the protocol that you used to transfer it or something. But I tested that because that's something you said and I'd heard and I wanted to test it. So I took the profile off of my Arch computer and I actually dropped it directly onto my Linux Mint computer build. Worked perfectly fine.
You will run
Maybe
across
older
this.
versions.
It will happen to you. It doesn't happen every time, but you're going to hit a time where you're going to. There's been a time where I've taken my profile and taken everything inside of it out and dumped it into another one to jumpstart it.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to keep pushing updates every month on the Firefox
Now,
browser, which
are you just moving the profile folder, or are you moving the whole .mozilla folder?
I've tried it both ways.
Okay.
I've really taken it apart and tried to,
I'm gonna keep trying that. I have not found that yet, but that does not that strikes me as something they will do.
I'm more prone, if I'm going to use Firefox, I think I'm going to back down and maybe use the ESR version where they ain't tinkering with it all the time and it's pretty much stable.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm gonna I did it recently because I had to reset this computer because Fedora upgrades weren't working anymore. So to upgrade to 31, I just completely wiped this computer and reinstalled it, and I was able to transfer my Firefox profile successfully.
Yeah.
Well, here's one other thing. I have a theory about this. I haven't fully tested it yet, but if you move to a brand new install system that has Firefox on it, and you do not open Firefox, you just move your profile before you open it, it may take. If you open Firefox once and it creates all its default junk, it's done. It's burned in.
I actually did open Firefox before I imported my profile, and it worked fine. I just had to delete the old profile that was already existing. And then I deleted the old profile, and I deleted pretty much everything that was related to profiles in that Mozilla folder. And then it just prompted, like, when I opened the app, it just said, what profile would you like to use? And my profile popped up. Simple as that.
Yeah, when this happens to you, you'll get a message telling you and explaining you how they want you to do it from now on.
Can you do that and send me a screenshot of it? I would love to look into that.
I will next time I distro hop, I will take a picture of it.
Excellent. Yeah, I would love to look into that further because, that's one of the things I'm not a huge fan of right now is how much they're pushing Pocket and they're pushing the sign in. It's like, dude, leave me alone. I never want to sign into your account. Where's the button for that?
It's too much. That's why I said I want to back down to the ESR version, which Debian comes with, and it works perfectly fine.
Yep. Absolutely.
I haven't had any of those problems. That's new to me.
It's something that's just started happening in the last 3 or 4 months.
Well, I'm going to keep looking into it and send me that information. Anybody else want to comment on any other web browsers here?
Maybe someone in the comments has had this issue.
Yeah, let me know in the comments if you have. Some people, somebody's mentioned Brave. I am not a huge fan of Brave. So it's based on Chromium. It does do its job of blocking the ads and stuff. I find them to be a little bit disingenuous in that they raised all of their money by telling the investors one thing, and then they built a web browser that was kind of used something different. And then they are doing this BAT coin collection, and then they accumulate a certain amount, and then they'll approach the person who owns that website, whatever else, says, hey, you have $100 in BAT here, just create your account over here and we'll give you this. And some people actually actually go in and set their browser to donate their BAT to individual creators, and that individual creator has not agreed to accept those at that point in time. And I looked into they're locking you into one single coin wallet in order to access those BAT coins, and I cannot agree to their terms of service. And so I'm not a big fan of Brave because of that. If you're using it because it's a built-in ad blocker Chromium build that works for you, that's fine. I'm just not a fan of it myself. I'm not sure if anybody has any other commentary on any of that or not.
I do use Firefox mainly because you can just harden it and customize it so much. Like I have mine. I pretty much follow. I did everything in your video
Yeah.
except history and DRM.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yep.
DRM turned on because I use Netflix and stuff, and I do
Yep.
like to have a history, and I'll
Yep.
clear it occasionally.
Yep.
So that's mainly what I use Firefox for too, is the DRM, because WaterFox, the DRM never seems to work in it.
Yeah, that's
But-
hilarious because like WaterFoxes, I think it was on Arch. I couldn't actually watch YouTube well on Chromium, and so I switched to WaterFox, which is hilarious. I use WaterFox for YouTube on my Arch computer. Go figure.
Wow.
Interesting.
WaterFox
but yeah.
WaterFox is really nice. I like it. I've been using it for years. It transports from distro to distro without any hiccups. The WaterFox profile, I haven't had any trouble transporting that. Matter of fact, I got the WaterFox profile from the Firefox I was using years ago.
And by the way, though, the best web browser of all time, so is coming to Linux very soon, and that is Edge. So I hope you guys are all going to
Edge.
adopt Edge when it kicks.
It don't even belong in the Linux world.
It's like,
Did you
dude,
also hear,
nobody uses this on your computer that you force it on us. What makes you think people are going to willingly use it? I don't know.
I thought you were joking and going to say Netscape Navigator.
No, Edge is actually coming to
Did
Linux.
you
very
hear that
soon.
they're porting Windows Defender too? Like what viruses are on Linux?
They're Windows
Yeah.
viruses if you have
Yeah.
wine.
You
Yeah.
put it in wine.
Yeah, but the thing perpetually loads in the background is harvesting all of your data. This is a way to collect the data off of your link. We got to figure out how to port the data collection to all those Linux people. Got it. Windows Defender, baby.
Yeah, for that 2% of people that use it.
Yeah. All right. Any final comments on web browsers? All right. Let's go ahead. What do we got next? Google Drive alternatives.
I'm sure we can all agree on one here.
All right.
Don't
So,
use them.
We're looking at Google Drive alternatives now. Google Drive, no, we're not talking about the Waymo car. We're talking about data storage. And so we're going to have a look at the Google Drive alternatives here. So they list Tresorit, not heard of that one. There's OwnCloud, Nextcloud, SyncThing, of course Dropbox, but there's some leeriness on that one as well. But
How about
what
Mega?
are your thoughts? Yeah,
Mega's good.
Yeah. Mega, not listed on the list here. Any other comments on these particular ones?
I'm a cranky old man. I don't use any of them.
All right.
Nextcloud's the best. I would say Nextcloud's the best if you want to install your own server.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah.
MailCal has a built-in Nextcloud installer. I have
really?
Nextcloud running on my MailCal instance.
Nice. Yeah, so I run Nextcloud. So my Nextcloud replaces Google Docs. It replaces Google Drive. It replaces all my contacts, all my calendars. All of that stuff is all on an encrypted Nextcloud on my own individual server.
I only use Nextcloud for file sharing, like if I have to share a file or if I want to access a file between my different devices, and passwords. That's the main one. I use the Nextcloud password manager. It's great. It's a great alternative to any of those cloud ones like LastPass that have been hacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of options in Nextcloud. Like Nextcloud, I think does about everything. It will, by the way, do conferencing, video conferencing. The problem is it hangs up. The Nextcloud Talk application hangs up if you have multiple cameras on your computer. That's why we still use this instead of that for now. But
I haven't used Calendar and Contacts because my contacts are in Sogo. And my calendar is my family's calendar in iCloud, so I haven't used that either. So I just use it for documenting, file sharing, and passwords.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Other comments on Google Drive alternatives?
Well, the Spider Oak is missing here, and out of this category, I'll say that Spider Oak was the first one to do the end-to-end encryption.
Yep.
And Tresorit is actually like 2 or 3 years ago, the only commercial message that they were pushing to people is like, we are the Spider Oak, but we're in Switzerland.
Yeah. Okay. So back to that. Where's your jurisdiction at?
That's right. That's again the way is your
Yeah.
jurisdiction, and it actually Mega was came after the Spider Oak, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that
Now, Spider Oak is, as I understood, was one of the better ones. But did they not have a snafu recently? What was up with Spider Oak recently? I thought there was something about them, but I can't remember for sure.
you see, all I know is that with our work, we're constantly thinking about how we can minimize the metadata.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So that nobody knows who I share my files with, or
Yeah.
that I don't, that people don't the server doesn't know who I talk with. So, for example, if I have a server at home, if somebody hacks it, how much information can they get?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, the same thing. So basically, own cloud and Nextcloud is sort of infrastructure like regular Google, but then you have to protect it like the Google has to do it, right?
Yep.
Unless you add this end-to-end encryption thing, which SpiderOak sort of, they were sort of the first really pushing it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yep. And Sync, I've not seen Sync before. That's in Canada, right? So, any comment on Sync?
Well, they are like Treasurit and like the SpiderOak.
Okay. All right.
So the only beef which I have with all these guys is like with your message, like unlike email, where all of us have emails from different providers, we can use any client and we can read each other emails.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I have my own cloud and I share files with you, like it will be either through the browser, which is not secure because there can be a loss of keys for end-to-end encryption, or you will probably have to install some, for example, like for Sync or Treasurit or SpiderOak, you will have to install another app for that company. And you cannot be on Treasurit and I'm on SpiderOak, and we can't share the files using our own clients. So.
Yeah.
That's my beef. There's no freedom. Like these are all isolated islands.
Now, of course, if you're just talking about sharing a single file with a single person, do you like Onion Share for that?
Actually, yeah, somebody shows Onion Share. Cool, really
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah. So if you just need to just take a file and send it to a person, Onion Share.
Onion Share.
These class systems here, allow you to store the files and then share them, or not revoke the sharing accordingly. So let's move on, since that was not too long, into Google Calendar alternatives. This is the one where it can be a little bit more difficult to set some of these up. Some of them work better, some of them don't. Again, Nextcloud for me, perfect calendar integration, particularly if you're using, so Dan uses this amazing calendar. That is an awesome calendar. It's called Paper. Which, hey, I gotta say, for a web techie guy, I use a lot of Paper myself. But
I have a paper calendar. I have a
You want
calendar
to?
up on the
Yeah.
wall too, but I never write anything on it.
yeah,
I write
So-
everything on it.
Yeah. So, of course, if you're using Linux Mint, GNOME, Budgie, Cinnamon, Budgie, GNOME, even Plasma has some of this, where you can just, on the operating system level, connect it to your Nextcloud calendar, for example, and it's completely perfectly syncs across everything. Absolutely amazing. Other ones, they have Lightning Calendar, Etar, Froox, MailFence, Collab Now, plus those running a combined email and calendar function. MailFence, Collab Now, Postio.de, Mailbox.org will all offer those.
And once again, MailCal has both calendar, contacts, and email. It's a whole groupware server.
Cool.
And like I said, with Exchange, you sign in on your phone. It uses Exchange Active Sync. Your contacts, your calendar, and your emails all automatically start syncing. You don't have to configure each one manually. That's why I like it.
Nice. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Go ahead. Any other comments on calendars or Drive for that matter? All right. We're going to stop there. We're going to go back and look at comments. And the next one we're doing, I think, is going to be Google Sheets, Slides, Docs. So I'm going to actually pull up my Nextcloud build for this one. All right, so we got Mitchell says LOL. I'm not sure what about, but anyway. Are you laughing out loud, Mitchell? All right, I run private mail through Dedi, and some ISPs block the IP range of the server. Yeah, that's why, like, if you are going to do a cPanel, it's generally better to do a VPS if you can afford it, because you're the only one on your IP block. Of course, we're running out of IPs.
So about running your own servers, like recently I was trying to add one more server service, and I was then thinking, oh, I have to put up, like, this reverse proxy, make a little TLS certificate with Let's Encrypt. And before I was starting to do that, I was like, oh, can I add this service behind the Tor proxy? And the magic of the Tor proxy is as follows. Say you have any applications, any. The hacker doesn't know your address when you're on the Tor network. Your onion address is not known unless you give it to somebody. So if you are just talking with a few friends and you have a little application on your own cloud, for example, you don't have to expose it to DNS network. You can just expose it through the Tor network.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I found like this is like a little tip, like, I don't know how useful that is. But
okay, let's see. Keegan just got home. Simple Text says Zuckerberg is worse than Gutenberg. Although he does say Gutenberg murdered web design, though. So, wish for a decent YouTube alternative. Yeah, that's like BitChute's really hard to use. I've not looked into DLive as much. But, there's a few other things. Make a video about core boot. If I remember later. I'll think about it, look into it. Need of a better lineage or a lineage, OS. So Quint, you got someone looking at your stuff there. Got to build a good phone for him. All right.
When will we get into that, you think? Is that when the article's over? Is there any mention of
don't know.
Android in the
Let's
article?
see. Google Docs, Google Photos, YouTube, Google Translate, Google Analytics, Google Maps. We will not get through all of these. Yeah. Oh, there is Android alternatives. Let's just do Android alternatives next, and then we'll kind of attach it to that. Actually, no, we're not going to do that next. We're going to do the Google Docs replacement, and then we'll do the Google Analytics. Or the Google Android stuff, whatever. All right. Let's see. What are the time? Wow, we're already at 8. And I have another stream at 9 o'clock on my other channel, if you guys want to come on for my stream at 9 o'clock. All right. That is on our Walk in Christ channel. Google puts money into Mozilla Foundation. There you go. DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckStop. All right. DuckDuck Pokemon Go. You have to open Firefox first, create a new profile, then move a few key files in the old profile to get your passwords, bookmarks, and cache back. Okay, there's an option. Dissenter is based on Brave. Yeah, there's the Dissenter browser based on Brave. Okay, let's see. When I really need privacy, I use Cubes, Unix with Tor, and I2P layer with Shadowbrooks, randomly timed MAC address changer, and software that mixes traffic with random internet white noise. That's a good way to go. You need to do a video about that one, man. Import by going to... So there's more information there, Dan, about importing the files and things like that. Let's see. I will not be able to get through all the comments, guys. My apologies, because we do have a lot of sections left. We're probably only going to do 2 more sections because I have another stream at 9, and I would like to take a little bit of break in between. So, Edge with Windows to VM. Yeah. Dissenter, we're at Dissenter. Yes, the Dissenter browser is a fork of Brave. Windows, I haven't found an exe, and for Linux, I haven't found a deb or RPM. Seems to need... For which one are you looking at, Mr. Jones? I'm sorry if I... Let's see. Could not install ungoogled Chromium on Linux or Windows. Quint, don't you use that or not?
I used to use on Google Chromium, but it was on my Mac.
Okay, so that was
I
a
just used
Mac thing?
regular Chrome. There was so much stuff missing in there that I just had to switch back to regular Chromium.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say I've looked into it. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive on over to the next section then. All right, so the next section is going to be Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides alternatives. So they have here CryptPad, privacy-focused alternative, strong encryption, and it's free. I've not heard of most of these. Zoho Docs. Does your Zoho do that? Does your mail?
Yeah,
account?
Zoho does have a built-in document thing. I've never used it before though.
Okay. Etherpad. Now, here it says only Office, feels a bit more restricted, and it says LibreOffice offline. You can use LibreOffice, which is free and open source, but they don't actually have anything about the online. Actually, though, this picture, though, is actually the online instance. But the fact is that no, you can use it. Now, it's a little bit more complicated to set up, but I run it on my Nextcloud build. So this is actually my science fiction book that is forthcoming. So if you just kind of click in on one of these guys here, it's going to just load up the document. And here we are. Here's the document, so I can do any of the typing. It actually does a lot of, your formatting, things like this. For the most part, very good. It'll tell me when the last modification is. If there's other people that have access to this through my Nextcloud, we can be editing it at the same time. You can see there's users down here at the very bottom. And so this guy here works very well. Of course, I put in all the different Windows fonts that you're going to find inside of any given different build. So no matter what, I shouldn't have any issues with this. Except I did find there's one font on here I don't have that I actually used for a document I wrote the other day. But this works really well. The big downside that I found is if you copy, everything is all internal copy and paste. Now you can do is it Shift to get this? But everything here is an image. So it records this as an image. So I don't have a good way to copy this out and paste it. So I'd actually have to download the document. Which I can download as a PDF, ODT, docx, or RTF. I just have to download the document, open it, and whatever, and do that. We can sign it, we can open, we can close. And that works really well for spreadsheets as well. And it works for, I have not tested presentations or not. Let's go ahead and just do a quick look at that. I've never actually tried that. So let's go ahead and see if that even works, what it looks like. I'm not sure I'd want to try and build a PowerPoint presentation online, but here it is. First time I've ever tried it. And this is running Calibora Online Development Edition, or Code. And this is running on an AWS server, and it's linked into my basic Nextcloud server. So a little bit more technical to set up, but you definitely have that option in there.
Have you looked at OnlyOffice in Nextcloud? There's OnlyOffice for Nextcloud too.
Yeah, they're pretty much set up the exact same way. They pretty much have the exact same feel and setup. I'm just used LibreOffice for everything, so I've used LibreOffice. How's it going there, Tech? What's going on?
Good evening, everyone. Back from dinner. Sorry to jump in the middle.
Hey, no problem. But of course, we have OpenOffice, LibreOffice. Anybody use any of these other alternatives out there?
LibreOffice.
LibreOffice, all right. Yeah.
From the very start.
Yep.
Pretty much just... Go ahead.
I just use LibreOffice, and then for my schoolwork and stuff, I try to avoid Google Docs as much as possible, and I just use Word on my computer. Mm-hmm. The actual, not the 365 version, just the regular Word version.
Yeah, yeah.
I've used OpenOffice in the past before I moved to Linux and discovered LibreOffice. They had a Windows version of OpenOffice that seemed to be a good workaround for replacing MS Office.
Yeah, yeah.
But Apache, they made some good stuff back then. I don't know what happened to them recently. They used to make a complete server suite to go with your Linux, and you could host your own stuff right from your machine.
Yeah, I think that might be what this picture is of, but actually this says LibreOffice Conference, so I'm guessing this is LibreOffice. But regardless, and it looks exactly like Code. In fact, this is the previous version. I'm running Code 6. This one looks like they're running Code 5. But yeah, I don't know if LibreOffice is still actively being developed or not, if it's just being basically maintained one way or the other. But
You mean OpenOffice?
Yeah, so
Under Apache.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
did I say only? I meant open.
yeah, OpenOffice kind of fell off the map.
Kitty showed up. Hi, Kitty. Was your vacation good? Did you have a good martini on the beach? Yeah. All right.
That's a
we
big
got
kitty.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got a cat. He's like 10-pounder. I caught a 10-pounder.
You-
All right. Let's wrap that one up there. And Quint, you want to do? We want to do Android alternatives.
Yes.
Man, there's so many here. Guys, definitely guys check out this article because this is going to be our last section, so we can actually wrap up at a decent time.
yeah,
So.
YouTube alternatives lately seem to be the biggest thing being discussed around all kinds of.
We have Chrome OS alternatives there too. Let's just do OS alternatives. So we'll do just one section.
So-
We'll do Google Chrome and then Android as well.
So
All right,
for
hold on a
Android,
second. Hold on a second. All right, so we're going to do our alternatives here for operating systems. So I think we'll start with Android, and then we'll go up and look at Google Chrome alternatives. So Quint had some specific things to say. So go ahead, Quint.
Okay, so Android is the alternative is not to get rid of Android, but just to use Android without Google services. And one way to do that is you can use MicroG to basically, which is an open source version of Google Play services that has a lot of this stuff. It's basically they reverse engineered Google Play services and added a lot of the APIs back in, as you can see right here. You can use Android without it, just straight up AOSP, but there's not a lot of apps that you get from the Google Play Store rely on Google Play services to function. So as you see here, everything that says full is what has been implemented into MicroG, which it's still in beta.
Mm-hmm. So okay.
MicroG, you can go to the project here and just download the files manually, which I've never actually done that because if you're doing it on Lineage OS, which I recommend, get the Lineage OS from MicroG ROM. This is a ROM that has MicroG pre-installed.
Mm-hmm.
And this
can
is
you
how
get
I
this?
recommend it.
Can you get this on any given phone build, or is that something you need to?
Yes, any
check
Lineage build is supported if you look here.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
And so better Lineage, though, which I've mentioned in the comments, is my ROM that I'm working on with another person.
Okay.
And it's basically a fork of Lineage OS for MicroG, but I added a lot of privacy-focused apps in there by default. Like, for example, we have the DuckDuckGo browser, we have DavX5, we have the Net Monitor from Copperhead OS, we have QKSMS, we have AdAway, which is an ad blocker. There's a couple other apps in here.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
The only thing that I do not have this is the thing that I've been trying to find an alternative for is Google Camera. I really like Google Camera. I think it's pretty much the best camera app for Android, but it's a Google app.
Well, have you considered Open Camera? Is what I use because it has tons.
So
more
I do have Google Camera in here by default, and it only works on some devices.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably will eventually replace this with Open Camera, but the reason I don't like Open Camera is I think the UI is terrible. I think Google Camera nailed the UI and all the features super well.
Okay. Now, there were some issues with vulnerabilities in Google Camera. Are we making sure those are not there?
This is a pretty old version of Google Camera that I don't think has those vulnerabilities. The new versions of Google Camera are garbage. This is Google Camera 5, which is my favorite version.
Okay.
And so we do have Aurora Store, so you can download apps from Google Play. That's something that Lineage OS from MicroG does not have, which it really needs.
Mm-hmm. And what phones does this work on?
This currently only works on the Google Pixel, but I need to. We will. The other guy who I work with this on has OnePlus phones, and he's going to try porting it to that.
Well, if you get me some info, maybe I can try and work on.
I will port it to
too,
Nexus
so.
5X for you to look at. I'll do
cool.
that.
Yeah. Probably about January
Yeah,
or
that's
so is when I'll start doing that.
Yeah, this is basically just what Better Lineage is. Basically, a Lineage OS out of the box that has everything you need for privacy.
Cool.
And Lineage don't come with a camera app.
Yeah, it does. It comes with a cheap one.
It's terrible though.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
And also the main thing, the one thing that I did do that Lineage really needs to do is they just need to get rid of audio FX. It's garbage. I took it out, as you can see here, under removed apps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that messed me up when I rebuilt my phone, my one phone on Resurrection OS, and I had just finished. I literally just built it like that week, and it was the week I was working on my last book's audiobook edition, and I had to QA it. So I had like 5 files to QA. So I throw it on the phone. I'm listening to it. I'm like, this sounds like garbage. Do I have to go back and redo all this? No, it was AudioVex.
So I did also remove the calendar app, the built-in camera app. There's actually 2. It's really weird. The AOSP app gets installed if you remove the Lineage camera app. I don't know why. And I did remove the messages app.
Did you use the Open Calendar? I forget what it's called. I think it's called Simple Calendar.
I'm using eTar.
Okay.
I like eTar better. It's also open source. And I'm using QK SMS instead of the default SMS app, which is also open source.
Okay, good.
Every app in here is open source except the Google camera.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for what you're trying to do, you're going to want to replace it with something open source. You're going to get flack for that if you don't. But yeah, that's pretty cool, though. Awesome. Yeah. Probably like January, I can maybe have a look at it. So, of course, I'm running Lineage without any Google or micro G or anything because I don't really have a need for any of that. And I run Resurrection OS on my other phone build. What else are you guys running or not running?
My phone's an iPhone, so this.
Okay. Well, we love you anyway, Ben. No kidding. That's fine. Dan, you have a rotary one, right? You got.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I do have one in the closet. I keep it here just to show the young ones what we used to use.
There's that old scene on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, right? He's like, I don't know how to use this thing.
Well, my stepdad used to work for Michigan Bell, so we had a lot of phone parts still in the family.
Yeah.
So I am actually still using it on my essential phone, which is my daily driver phone. I am using Lineage OS for micro G just because I want something that works that won't have a risk of breaking.
Yep. There you go. Yeah.
And so this is just the test phone where I put all the ROMs on and stuff.
Yeah. And is that one working, or is that one that's the one that's kind of broken?
I didn't end up getting a new one. This is the broken one. The weird thing is the speakers work. Sometimes it's a software problem. Sometimes you'll turn it on and the speakers work. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll turn it on and the speakers won't work. It's weird.
Interesting. Fascinating. All right. The other area in this there is replacement for Google Chrome OS. Switch to Linux. Just go to Linux, guys. Just Linux.
Yeah.
Yep.
Linux, of course. There's a varieties. Tails, Cubes. If you want the security and the privacy, Tails, Cubes are some of the better ones. Of course, if you're looking for best pure Chrome OS, Peppermint. Although the guys at Peppermint did tell me, like one guy apparently said, "Hey, Peppermint is like the Linux answer to Chrome OS." But actually, Mark Reeves actually told me, no, it's actually Peppermint predates Chrome OS. So. But Peppermint is actually one of the closer you're going to get, web-based type, a lot of web-based type stuff and things like that. But, switch to Linux. So we're obviously going to say go to Linux. Give me your final thoughts on, actually, let me see if there's anything else here. Any other comments before on Chrome OS or Android alternatives?
I'm with Ben. I've got an iPhone, so not an option for me.
All right.
I got one just like Ben does. I mean, we had to choose the lesser of the evils, and that's what we got.
Yeah, and I'll say if you're not going to run a custom ROM, iPhone is better for privacy. I think if you are going to run a custom ROM, obviously something with Lineage on it would be better. So
yeah, I think them people at Apple would rather have the money than all our data, anyways.
Oh, I mean, guarantee it.
They're going extra deep on the hardware just to get, the money.
Yeah.
As somebody who used to work for Apple, may I butt in here? I know I've got all the sins against me at work.
Please do.
I can tell you, as somebody who was in some of the upper support for iOS, Apple absolutely does not want your data. Like the years ago where they had that terrible shooting in California, Apple doesn't want to be in the position of being responsible for giving people's data to anyone else. So Apple's not in it for the data selling; they're in it for the hardware sales.
Yeah, so I mean, I had to go through this annoying process of upgrading the iPad because I really don't use the iPad, but I need it for QAing websites. Is usually what I use it for. But since I sell books, if I find myself at a book convention, the best thing to do to take credit cards is to get either a Square or one of the little PayPal Squares and just attach it, which I would not be able to do if I'm still running iOS version 8. And so I'm like, well, let's go ahead and upgrade this thing as much as I can. Well, my Mac bricked the iPad. Windows gave me the red screen of death. And I end up using, Phone Dog, which just pushed the quick little button, quick fix, boom, got it right on back to iOS 8. And I'm like, all right, we're functioning. Let's try Windows 10 again. Ran at Windows 10. Windows 10 did finally update it properly. So... I do have the update. The iPad is updated, but man, iOS, I think I'm on 12. It's an iPad Air 1. iOS 12 is the most annoying operating system I have ever used. It actually is more annoying than Windows 10, believe it or not.
iOS.
That's a bit much.
I've got
Can you just update it? Tom, why did you plug it into the computer? Because can't you just update it through the actual iPad?
Nope.
Not on
it's
iOS
like
8.
this. You can't update this one through on over the air. You have to do it through iTunes.
Yeah, it was that that came later. I actually have the original iPad Air as well,
So,
and I can tell you iOS 12 is so bothersome because the only thing I have on there is literally a Bible app, and it will crash every 8 minutes.
Oh lordy. Yeah, I mean it's like they did a few things to make it stylistically, a few things look better. Most of it looks worse. And it's the most annoying thing I've ever seen. It's like every single time, notifications. Excuse me, I just spent the last 25 minutes turning off notifications on everything. Why are you giving me pop-ups to tell me to turn on notifications? For the love. No, I don't want them thing to make any noise at all. I don't want it to notify me on anything at all. It is simply here to test web browsers, period. So, yeah. But anyway, now here's a fun question for you then, Tech. I saw that now they're like, okay, we are going to have a plan very soon. We are going to have the portless iOS device. How exactly do I update it? And if it crashes in the middle of an update, how exactly do I fix it if it's only doing over-the-air updates?
Where did I didn't see this? So
brand new news article just came out today.
Too. The new iPhones for 2021 are going to be completely wireless.
Completely portless. Yep.
The other thing,
hold on.
Do you guys want to hear a story about my MacBook?
No, not yet, Quint. Tech's got the floor. Go ahead, Tech.
Sorry, I haven't seen this article, so I would tell everybody, be very, very leery of some of these more outlandish rumors that you see. Apple's an 85 company, which is what 85% of the people use 85% of the time, and there's too many people plugging in their phones and their iPads. Still.
I'm sorry, but everyone was plugging in their headphones too.
Yeah, I'm still mad over that headphone jack.
I believe this was an Apple release, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't get a chance to read all of the article yet, but I'll look into it, and it's probably going to be on the news tomorrow. But yeah.
Okay. If you got the link, I'm happy to read it, but this is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, let me see if
I can find it. Keyword there, I used to work for Apple. I don't work for them anymore, so it's quite a number of years ago. So all I can do is speculate.
Yeah. So actually, Tech Radar reports on this thing. Look, Ma, no holes. 2021 iPhone could be completely portless. I read that first. I thought it said pointless, but
you know what? And they're going to play it up that it's completely waterproof to 3 miles below sea level.
All right, Quint, go
So
ahead.
basically,
Your Mac.
my MacBook, which I have sitting right back here actually, what happened is on these newer MacBooks, they have a force touch trackpad, which basically what that means is that the trackpad doesn't actually click. There's just a vibration motor in there that makes it think you're clicking. And so what happened is one day I was just using my computer. The entire right side of my trackpad is dead. You cannot click on anything because the vibration motor quit working its software for the side. And so what I went to the Apple store the other day, and they said that they're going to have to ship the computer off for 3 weeks, and they're going to have to replace the entire front of the computer.
Yeah, you know what? Call Louis Rossman. Literally,
I
call
was just gonna say
Louis
that.
Rossman and tell him the case. And I bet that he could turn that thing around faster, replacing only the part and for half the price.
I was about to say, did you say that
Well,
was
we have
software related?
I have Apple Care, so it would be free.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you wouldn't be half the price, but I don't know. That's funny.
I was gonna
It's just
say,
weird how like one side works and the other side doesn't.
It's because
Well,
I think
you know
I think
what's-
there's 2 motors in there. I think is what it is.
That's
Now-
actually what happened to my Dell keyboard, where just the ASDF and the JKL : key simply stopped working. Everything
Now-
other key worked. So
Now, Quint, what is there a deductible with your Apple Care?
No.
I don't think so. We bought it when you buy the computer, and I think everything's pretty much included.
I hear so
Like
many
me.
rumors about Apple Care and deductibles, and that's all they are is rumors. I haven't met anybody that's actually had to pay a deductible.
So yeah, third-party warranties on Apple products are like that, but from Apple, if it's an actual Apple Care plan, no. I mean, with phones, if there's water damage or you crack a screen, or on an iPad, that's true, but I don't think that's true on any of the Macs.
yeah, I don't know. All right. I'm not going to be able to get through the rest of the comments because we need to jump this off here. But I will be streaming on my other channel, which is Our Walk in Christ. We will be talking about reaching the poor with the gospel as the topic. So if you are into that type of discussion, you can jump on over there. We'll start at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, which is about 35 minutes from now. Drop the link in there if you want to jump on over there and see what that's about. If not, we'll see you next time. News tomorrow, and it'll be a feisty one. I think like half the articles came from people, so I deeply appreciate you guys sending me articles. That's actually awesome. And actually, one of my feature article maybe go. I think it's my cheap one, my featured article. I don't remember what it is, but it's frightening. Let me check in on Hex Chat quickly before I forget. So Distro Magenta use ESR version of Firefox, and Older Job use SyncThing to sync our local branch documents folder, so I can have backups at home. All right, cool. There's options over there. All right, any guys give us your final words, then we'll wrap up the live part. Ben, final words.
If you want less Google in your life, just pick a Google service that you're currently using and look at some of the alternatives either in the list that Tom showed, or go find your own.
Yep.
And start with the one you want to and try what works for you. Go down the list and pick something else.
Sounds good. Dan?
Man, with all the bad news we've been getting out lately, I don't even want to crawl out from underneath the bed.
Hey, this was good news today, Dan. I was thinking of you when I did this one. This is like, hey, alternatives.
I got a feeling we're going to go tomorrow. Oh, boy.
Mikola, final words.
Don't give up. We're going to change this world for the better.
Absolutely. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And once again, you're Mikola, you work privacysafe.io, right? You work with them?
Basically, Privacy Safe is
Yep.
our partner in USA to do the
Okay.
marketing.
Yep.
And they're
Okay.
using the 3N Web platform.
3N web platform. Okay.
Web.com.
Excellent. And if you want to drop those links in the chat here, go ahead. If you have the chat open, go ahead and drop that in for everybody. Quint, go ahead and drop your page there for your phone bill too, if you want, and give us your
Yep.
final words.
There is a website that's currently in development, so I'll just put the GitHub page for now.
Cool. That'll work. Ken Master says, I never take advice from a lowly iPhone user. Will you take advice from Lineage and Resurrection OS users? Nicola, what are you using for a phone?
How shall I put it? Mostly, I've been spotted in the wild having a flip phone with a SIM card, which I don't even own.
Okay. There you go.
All right. One for the SIM card.
Well, on the last Kitchener-Waterloo CyberSec meetup, people asked, "What's your cell phone?" I showed them this, but it was not on the Wi-Fi. The Bluetooth was turned off, and there's no SIM card which works on this continent.
All right. There you go. All right. Quint, for your final words.
Self-host as much as possible. Use Nextcloud, use MailCal, use cPanel, use Lineage, use Better Lineage, whatever. Just self-host and install your own stuff as much as possible.
Yeah. Which is going to be hard. It's going to be a learning curve, but it's always worth that learning curve. Absolutely. And Tech, what's your final words?
My final words would be: don't be afraid to experiment with different options.
Yes.
The goal is not to make any one open source project great. It's to not get stuck into corporate tribalism.
Correct. And this is a neat story. I'm going to have this story probably later on, more concise. But I've been with Verizon for 19 years, and I am about to jump ship from them. And for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been setting things up so I'm not locked in. So I don't have any phone contracts with them. I don't have any plan that's locked in. I don't have anything like that. And at this point in time, so then what's the next plan? Well, start poking around. So I got another copy of the Nexus 5X, built up a ROM that I wanted, which is going to be equivalent. And then I've been testing some mobile carriers. And now I'm testing the mobile carriers. I'm well aware of what the limitations are, what the advantages, what the disadvantages. And I've allowed myself to have a good exit strategy so I'm not tied into this company that's driving me crazy for another X amount of years. Just do that. Experiment, poke, and prod. And don't just jump from one thing to the other. Build alongside the other. It's the same recommendation I have if you're switching to Linux. Don't just wipe your computer, switch to Linux, and then be like, haha, cold turkey, I'm on Linux. You're going to go back to Windows. But if you slowly ramp it in and slowly give it a try, it's going to get you there. So that's...
Tom,
Yep. What's that?
the other thing I wanted to mention to you is Mint Mobile works fine for me on Lineage or on my ROM.
Yep.
I don't know why it didn't work for you.
So on mine, the reason why it didn't is because I loaded the phone up, and then, of course, you got to load into Google and then run Lineage. The last step is you need to go back into Lineage and refresh the phone. Like, you have to go back and factory reset the phone once Lineage is installed on it. That's what you had to do.
I didn't have to do that. Literally, all I did is I just put the SIM card in. I had the phone on. Like, I just literally turned the phone on. I put the SIM card in. I rebooted, and it worked fine.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it was that it only worked with the SIM card after I did a factory reset. So you load it up, because on the Nexus, now I don't know how the Pixel is, but on Nexus, you have to go into Google, set it up for Lineage, install Lineage, and then if I put the SIM card in without doing a factory reset into the Lineage factory reset, it wouldn't read the SIM card. So that's what my final step would have been, which is why I was working with Resurrection.
I'm listening to all this and I'm thinking, man, all I want to do is make a phone call.
Hey, I've only had to do that once. It's done. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here so I can chat with these guys for a few minutes. About a half hour will be on the other channel. Link is up there in the chat. So we'll catch you guys later.